So the first thing we need to do is discuss diatonic harmony. All right, I'm going to be in the key of F for most of this video. All of the progressions are going to be in the key of F, so we can stay in one key. All right. Now this is my F major scale. You see, it's pretty much all white notes except for the B is a B flat. So there's one flat in the key of F. So I have F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, and F. Okay. Now what I do is to create diatonic triads or seventh chords, what you do is you start on the first note and then skip the next note of the scale and skip the next note of the scale. All right. What I'm doing is I'm only using notes from that F major scale to build these chords. That's very important. That's where the term diatonic comes in. All right. So diatonic, it's between the tonic. All right, between the two tonics, and I'm using just notes from that scale. Okay, so F major triad would be the one chord, and if I went up to the next chord, I just move each note up. I have my G minor chord, and then A minor, and then B flat major. I'm moving my fingers just so you can see what I'm playing here. All right, now notice the B flat, not B natural, right? C major, D minor. Is that right? No, should be that, right? E diminished, and then F. So my diatonic triads are 1 major, 2 minor, 3 minor, 4 major, 5 major, 6 minor, 7 diminished, and 1 major. The 7 diminished you'll find is used much, much more rarely than a lot of the other chords. Okay. Now, to make them seventh chords, we just skip one more note and make a 4-note chord. So you see, once again, I have my F major scale. I'm just playing the first note of the scale, skipping the next, playing the third, playing the fifth note, playing the seventh note, right? So there's my F major seventh. That's the one chord. And then 2 minor 7, G minor 7. 3 minor 7. 4 major 7. 5 dominant 7th. 6 minor 7. 7 minor 7 flat 5. All right, now we do end up using this one much more than that just plain old diminished triad. Okay, so 7 minor 7 flat 5, and then we go back to 1. All right, let's talk about why you even want to know your diatonic seventh chords and diatonic triads. First of all, I'm going to be talking about the diatonic seventh chords for the rest of this lesson. Okay. If you want to know more about the diatonic triads, I do talk about it in the chords and inversion lesson in the gospel site. But the diatonic seventh chords, when you start to understand these Roman numerals, so 1 chord, the 4 chord, the 5 chord, 6, 2, so on and so forth, it makes it a lot easier to be able to memorize songs. Because then you start to see songs as pattern. Oh, that's a 1, 6, 2, 5. Oh, they're going to the 4 chord and then the 4 minor chord. Okay? Now, this is something that's really cool about the diatonic seventh chords. They are exactly the same chord quality in every key. Now what I mean by that is 1 major 7, 2 minor 7, 3 minor 7. If I were to do this in the key of C, C is easy because it's all white notes. If you have any black note in the chord, you know that it's not diatonic. So the 1 chord is major, 2 chord is minor, 3 chord is minor, 4 is major, 5 is dominant, okay? So the diatonic chords, the quality remains the same no matter what key you go into. One more time, let's say we were going to do the key of D major. All right, we have 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. So there's my 1 chord, D, F sharp, A, and C sharp. The 2 chord would be E minor, E, G, B, D, E, G, B, and D. The 3 chord would be F sharp minor, which is F sharp, A, C sharp, and E. 4 major, G, B, D, F sharp. What about that? Is that right? A minor for the 5 chord? No, it should be what? A dominant 7th. 5 dominant 7th, A, C sharp, E, and G. All right, so that's neat. They're the same quality chords, not the same chords, obviously, okay, because the 1 chord in F major is F major, the 1 chord in C major is C major, but the quality, meaning the everything after the name of the chord, so the major 7th chord, minor 7th chord, that's the quality of the chord. So the 2 minor 7, all right, is 2 minor 7 no matter what key you're in. the other thing is that it makes it easier to be able to memorize songs, like I said, okay? And then the third thing that's neat about it is you will find these diatonic chords all over the place. In jazz standards, in pop songs, Latin, classical songs, all right? You will find the diatonic chords being used a lot. Your 1, 4, and 5 chords, those are diatonic chords a lot of times. Like when you're playing 1, 4, and 5, you know, just in triads, that's all diatonic, just within the scale. Now, an easy way of seeing if a chord is diatonic or not diatonic, just look and see, okay, are any of the notes of the chord outside of the scale? So if I'm in the key of F and I go to G dominant 7th, you can see that this is a non-diatonic chord because I'm using a B natural instead of a B flat, okay? And when you're in the key of C, like I said, it's real easy to see it. Like here, hey, wait a second, G sharp is definitely not in the key of C, so you know that you're no longer diatonic, okay? Now, there is a pattern that is the same of the quality of these chords. The 1, the 4 chord are both major 7th chords. 2, 3, and 6 are minor 7ths. And then your 5 chord is the dominant 7th chord. Now, let's clue into that because we're going to talk about this in the next chapter. 5 chord is your dominant 7th chord, and there is only one dominant 7th chord in each key. Now, that is really critical. Right? So for right now, just know that the 5 chord is the dominant 7th chord, and there's only one dominant chord per key. And then finally, you have 7 minor 7 flat 5, which would typically be used in a 2-5 kind of progression, which we will talk about a little bit later as well. Okay? So anyway, that's it for diatonic 7th chords. What I'd like you to do now is stop the video and just pick up a scale. Try a scale that, you know, maybe you're comfortable with, like, you know, G or, you know, F or C, okay, and just go through and play all of the diatonic 7th chords, okay? And then name the chords as you do it. C major 7, 1 major 7, D minor 7, 2 minor 7, E minor 7, 3 minor 7, 4 major 7, F major 7, so on and so forth. But then try and do it in a key that you're not all that comfortable with. Let's say A flat. So the A flat major scale is A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, G, and A flat. Okay? So go ahead through that scale and play all of those diatonic 7th chords, okay? What am I doing here? Oh, jeez. Okay? So you're 7 minor 7 5 5. Okay, go through that new scale and play through all of those diatonic 7th chords, and I'll see you in the next chapter.